And this is show number 3 with the Hippie Pastor. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall start with the quote of the day. The quote of the day, it say, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life." Anybody want to guess? No, it was Buddha. Ladies and gents, so as I continued with the hippie revolution and taking drugs and marijuana and all these beautiful things and LSD, like I said before, the drug life is like climbing a mountain of ecstasy and beauty. But then you get to the top, you start going down on the other side. And that's what eventually happens, and that's why a lot of people had found the light of life in marijuana and LSD, etc., then later end up manic, depressive, and end up dying, like Jimi Hendrix, like Amy Winehouse, like Janis Joplin. Drugs gave them that fire, but then drugs takes away their life. So it is a downward, it goes up and then it goes down. Okay, so that was happening to me. I even got into shooting heroin. I mean, drugs was my life, and the hippie revolution was my life, and I knew nothing else, and that's all I wanted it to do. Until the hippie revolution started to lose its beauty and its fire and its essence. The way they destroyed the hippie revolution was through making it into something commercial. They made it into something commercial and like a fad, like a passing fad. And that's how they took away the reality of it. It just became another superficial, dressed like a hippie. And then the hippies started dying, from drugs and going crazy or going to jail. That's what happened to most of my friends, and etc., committing suicide, who knows what. Anyway, and this happened to me. And when it happened to me, I started to think, like I got on a spiritual search, and the first part I thought about was Jesus. I said, wow, Jesus Christ, he looked just like a hippie, and he was rejected by society. He was an outcast, almost like an outlaw. He was like a street person, and he didn't fit in. He wasn't a society child, obviously. And the way he ended up, dying with other criminals, with two robbers, as a common criminal, rejected by society. And of course, probably he really let down a lot of people, his relatives, that thought he was going to be this great carpenter like his dad. But instead he went on this revolutionary path to change the world with love. See, that's what I saw that I liked. But then it was contradictory, because I did not like Christians. I did not like Christians. I found them to be very superficial and self-righteous and clannish in their little clique, their little group. We're going to heaven, and all you dirty, stinking, drug addict hippies are going to hell, where you belong, because you're witchcraft, wizards, witches, demons. And they hated the rock and roll music. They said it was from Satan. Satan created rock and roll. Anyway, so I just disliked Christians. I found them to be phony and superficial. I did not like that. But I thought it seemed like Jesus Christ was more of a spiritual man. But this was a thought that was in my subconscious. I didn't really express it. So then when I got to that part where I was just manic depressive and on the verge of suicide and unhappy, and drugs no longer gave me the happiness, and the hippie revolution was disappearing, and everybody was just getting all weird, I started the spiritual search. And one day I was in my house, and the song came out. I think it was like around 1973. Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven came out, so I thought it was a nice song, but the words, the lyrics, and it said that the piper is calling you to join him, and that your stairway is in the west, right? So the West, that's California, right? So I was in New York, in the East. So always we had this idea about California that they were like flower children. Actually, the hippie revolution, I think, was born in California, and as a lot of other spiritual organizations and groups like Charlie Manson, without going too far, and a lot of other cults, the Children of God, of Moses, David Berg, otherwise known as the Family. They were born in California. I mean, all these different groups were born in California, spiritual people, yogas and gurus and shamans. And still to this day, California, I think, is like a spiritual center. So I thought, wow, I'm a New York gutter rat, street rat. I said, let me go find beauty, you know. I'm a moth. Let me go where the butterflies are. And let's see how they like me flying around them. They didn't seem to like it too much. Anyway, so I had no money, but I was a desperado. I was desperate. I was at the end of my rope. I wanted to live. I didn't want to die like all my other hippie friends. So I just walked out of my house, basically with the clothes I had on, no money. And I started walking toward California, hitchhiking. So I started hitchhiking to California, and on the halfway there, because I got all these little short rides, I was standing at a gas station where there was a restaurant, and they were nice to give me a free meal. In those days, people did that to hippies. And so they gave me a free meal, and I'm standing there waiting for, the people that stop at the gas station so I can ask somebody for a ride. And all of a sudden, this Volkswagen van, like those hippie vans, comes pulling up, and this beautiful young woman of legal age comes out. She had no shoes, barefooted, with blue jeans and a white t-shirt, and no bra. But she was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. She was obviously a hippie, like me. So I went up to her and I said, hey, can I get a ride? Can you help me with a ride? And she said, how far are you going? I said, I'm going to California. And she said, me too. I'm going to San Francisco and I'll take you there, no problem. So I'm thinking, this lone wolf that I am. Right, girls? Shut up. I'm thinking, what are you looking at? I'm thinking, oh man, this is like a godsend. God is working already on my behalf. I mean, this beautiful hot little baby and a babe in a Volkswagen van with a bed in the back. I'm like, oh man, I smile, big smile. I couldn't erase it. And so, and she had this bag of marijuana. She had like there was like 2 ounces, a big bag of marijuana. So we smoked marijuana all the way to California. But my luck, the story of my life, shut up. She was going to California to a hippie commune to marry one of these hippies at the commune. And she was very much in love with him, and they were going to get married. So I was tough out of luck. The hippie pastor was going to get none. Nothing happened. All we did was smoke weed and look at the scenery. Stoned out of our minds. That's what happens. Anyway, we get to California, we get to the hippie commune. The hippies there, they were different than what I was used to in New York. In New York, people, they mixed the hippie, they were more so, I think, more street. But hippies in California were more sophisticated. They were peace and love. I mean, they would trip on LSD in these beautiful settings, while we would trip on LSD in alleys, in cement alleys, and rob cars and and get in fights and take tires off of cars, etc. There's this different LSD route. So the California people were like really beautiful, spiritual people, but I don't think they liked me that much. So shortly thereafter, I ended up leaving the commune, and on my search, to continue my search to find God. So we shall continue with this talk on it because it's going to get super interesting. Don't miss out. Be good. Be good to yourself. I love you, man. Spread the love. Spread the love.